What if I told you that the exercise recommendations you've followed for years may actually hinder your true health after 60? Even I, as a doctor, was astonished by the results of recent studies. A groundbreaking study conducted in 2024 at Kapengunsky University observed 8,000 adults over the age of 60 for 5 years. It turned out that those who replaced regular walks with 5 specific
Okay, now
exercises
everyone,
managed to
deep
reduce the risk
breaths.
of falls by 73% and increase strength by almost 89%. This is not a mistake. It is about nearly doubling physical capabilities while significantly reducing the risk of injury.
It's
The
working.
scientists were so astonished by
Actually
the results
working.
that they repeated the experiment
I
twice,
don't
each
believe
time
it.
obtaining identical
After all
data.
this time.
What is even more impressive? Participants spent 40% less time training compared to the control group, but achieved
Good job,
significantly better
everyone.
health results across all indicators. Blood pressure
Well,
improved by
I have some good news for
31%,
you.
while joint
The
pain
results
decreased by
came back and
67%
everything looks
compared to just
perfect.
12% in walkers. The density of bones not only remained but increased. Interestingly, the first exercise on the list was so simple that 94% of participants could perform it immediately without any equipment or preparation. And yet, this one movement increased longevity rates by 42%. According to recent research from Harvard Medical School, it activates so-called mechanotransduction pathways that literally reprogram cells to function like young ones. And here is what I left for dessert. Once you understand the principles behind this exercise, you will never look at physical activity the same way again. This may be a determining factor in whether you move confidently at 80 or rely on a cane by 70. Before continuing, write in the comments how old you are and from which city in Russia you are watching us. We carefully read and respond to every comment, so don't hesitate. Now, without further ado, let's figure out how to prepare your body for the future and move like you did at 40. Let's start with the fifth exercise, wall push-ups with a hold. Perhaps this exercise may seem too simple to be of real benefit, but science claims otherwise. A study published in the journal Aging and Physical Activity in 2020 showed that elderly individuals who performed push-ups for just 8 weeks increased their upper body strength by 34%, more than those who engaged in traditional exercises. Why is this so important? After the age of 60, we lose about 3% of muscle mass each year if we do not take measures to counteract this process. The strength of the upper body is directly related to our ability to handle everyday tasks, such as carrying shopping bags, opening cans, or preventing falls. Push-ups against the wall with holds develop so-called functional patterns of strength that correspond to the movements we perform dozens of times a day. Stand at arm's length from the wall, placing your palms at shoulder level with your feet together or slightly apart. Carefully lean forward until your nose is almost against the wall, holding this position for 3 to 5 seconds. Pay attention to how your chest, shoulder, arm muscles, and even your abs work. Then slowly return to the starting position. The pace of execution is very important. 2 seconds for the incline, 3 to 5 seconds for holding, and 2 seconds for returning. This load regimen is much more effective for people over 60 compared to quick repetitions. Start with 5 repetitions and gradually increase them to 15. If it has become too easy for you, step further from the wall. And if it is difficult, step closer. Research conducted by scientists from British Columbia showed that those who performed this exercise 3 times a week for 12 weeks increased their push strength by 41% and their reaction speed, which is directly related to fall prevention. The fourth exercise is a seated leg raise with resistance. If you think this exercise is easy to do while sitting, you will be surprised. A study published in the Archive of Physical Medicine in 2024 showed that elderly people performing resistance leg lifts improved their walking speed by 28% and their ability to climb stairs by 45%. Walking speed is considered the sixth vital sign, so important that it is often used as the main indicator of health and longevity. This exercise engages the hip flexors and quadriceps while also working the core, which provides stability. These muscles are necessary for every step, climbing stairs or standing up from a chair, but simple walking does not strengthen them. To perform the exercise, sit on a sturdy chair, keep your back straight and your feet on the floor. Slowly raise one leg straight ahead, trying to keep the knee as straight as possible. The goal is to bring the leg parallel to the floor, but if you can't do it right away, don't be discouraged. Hold this position for 2 seconds, then slowly lower the leg without touching the floor. It is important to keep your back pressed against the chair back, Otherwise, the load will shift in the wrong direction. Perform 10 to 15 repetitions on one leg, then switch to the other. The effectiveness of this exercise is based on unilateral training. Each leg works separately, helping to eliminate muscle imbalance that increases with age. To make progress, add resistance every 2 weeks. Use cuffs, weights, or resistance bands. Research shows that muscles and bones respond to progressive load at any age, and elderly people often gain strength even faster than the young, as they start from a lower level. The third exercise is standing calf raises with balance. At first glance, this exercise may seem simple, but it addresses one of the most underrated tasks of healthy aging: strengthening the calf muscles and stability of the ankle joint. A key study conducted by the National Institute of Gerontology in 2023 showed that calf muscle strength is one of the best predictors of maintaining independence in people over 60 for the next 10 years. People with well-developed calf muscles have a 71% lower chance of being hospitalized due to falls and are 64% less likely to sustain injuries. The reason for this phenomenon is quite simple. The calves act as a second heart, aiding blood circulation from the lower limbs. Weak calf muscles lead to poor circulation and increase the risk of blood clots. How to perform this exercise? Stand behind a chair, lightly touching its back for support. Rise onto your toes as high as possible, balancing on the pads of your feet. At the highest point, hold your position for 3 seconds, looking straight ahead instead of at the floor. This helps activate the vestibular system of the inner ear, which can deteriorate with age. Descend slowly back, taking 3 seconds for this. It is during the descent phase that strength builds. Start with 10 repetitions and gradually increase the number to 25. When you can perform 25 lifts almost without touching the chair, move on to doing it on one leg. This significantly increases the load and greatly improves balance. Japanese researchers from a longevity center confirmed that elderly people who can perform 20 single leg raises have a biological age 15 years younger than their peers. Their arteries were found to be 43% more elastic. Each rise and fall acts like a pump, pushing blood upward and improving circulation throughout the body, including the brain. In one study conducted over 12 weeks, participants showed a 26% improvement in cognitive tests due to increased oxygen flow to the brain. But most importantly, these movements strengthen the tendons and muscles, allowing for better balance recovery during stumbles. If you fall, your body first reacts by pushing off with the toes to maintain balance. Weak calves won't allow you to react quickly. The Balance Challenge exercise helps train the interaction between the brain and muscles, creating new neural connections. MRI showed that such activities increase the amount of gray matter in areas of the brain responsible for coordination and spatial orientation. To achieve maximum results, vary the tempo. Perform slowly with holds twice a week and faster once a week. 1 second for the lift and 1 second for the descent. This variation prevents stagnation and activates different adaptation mechanisms. The second exercise is the chair squat. Modified chair squats rank second. Many people fear they might harm their knees, but a meta-analysis based on 42 studies conducted in 2024 with over 15,000 participants showed that properly performed chair squats are not only safe but also reduce the risk of knee injuries by 58%. This exercise engages the glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, core muscles, and even the back. After 60, the ability to stand up and sit down independently defines our independence. If a person cannot rise from a chair without using their hands, their risk of death in the next 5 years triples. This movement is that important. How to perform it? Take a sturdy chair at a height that allows your knees to form a 90-degree angle while sitting. Stand before him with your feet hip-width apart, toes slightly turned out. You can cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward. Slowly lower yourself, pushing your hips back as if closing a car door with your thigh. This activates your glutes and reduces strain on your knees. The exercise should last about 3 seconds. Gently touch the chair with your buttocks, but do not sit fully. Immediately stand up, pressing your heels into the floor and tightening your glutes. The rise should be done in 2 seconds. Start with 5 to 8 repetitions, gradually increasing to 15 to 20. Research from the Stanford Longevity Center showed that elderly people who performed squats 3 times a week increased their leg power by 47% in just 6 weeks. Essentially, power is strength plus speed, which is much more important for preventing falls. The speed has increased by only 0.2 meters per second. At first glance, this may seem insignificant, but this indicator can determine whether a person will be dependent or independent. Moreover, magnetic resonance imaging showed that squats activate the motor cortex of the brain, effectively restructuring neural pathways for better movement control. As for progression, use a regular chair for the first 2 weeks. After mastering 15 repetitions, move to a lower surface, like a poof or a low stool. Later, you can perform squats without a stool, imagining one. Next, take light dumbbells to increase the load. Thus, squats become a universal tool for maintaining strength and independence for many years. Exercise number 1 is the bird dog progression. This movement takes first place due to its benefits. When you understand the mechanics of this exercise, it will become clear why it has become so popular among doctors. In a study by Harvard Medical School, this exercise increased longevity rates by 42%. At first glance, it may seem strange, but it is the only movement that simultaneously addresses the key tasks of healthy aging: core stability, balance, cognitive functions, back health, and even bone density. In the year 2024, a gerontology magazine named it the most effective exercise for the elderly. Why is it so special? The bird dog position requires balancing on opposite arm and leg while keeping a straight back. This diagonal activation of muscles mimics the natural pattern of walking or running. But the most interesting part is the activation of the cross-neural signal when the brain is forced to coordinate the work of the left and right hemispheres simultaneously. This improves memory, attention, and reduces the risk of dementia by 31%, according to Cleveland Clinic data. How to perform this exercise? Get on all fours on a mat, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, back in a neutral position. Raise your right arm forward and your left leg back, stretching into a straight line. Hold the position for 5 seconds, ensuring the pelvis does not rotate. Then lower and repeat on the other side. Progress. For 1 to 2 weeks, hold the position for 5 seconds and perform 5 repetitions. In the 3rd to 4th week, increase the holding time to 10 seconds, and in the 5th to 6th week, add a slight lift of the hand and leg by a couple of centimeters. Try doing this exercise with your eyes closed. The visual cue disappears, and the balance system begins to work more actively. Research conducted by scientists at the clinic showed that they observed 5 participants over the age of 60 for 2 years. Those who practiced the bird dog exercise 4 times a week showed incredible results. Core strength increased by 93%. Lower back pain decreased by 76%. The likelihood of falls decreased by 82%. Bone mineral density in the spine and hips increased by 3.2%, although typically after 60 years, there is an annual loss of 1%. This effectively means that aging has been reversed by 4 years. The mechanism is simple. Tension creates specific mechanical stress in the bones and muscles, triggering signals for the cells. Strengthening is necessary, and they truly reorganize. German studies on neuroplasticity have shown that during the bird dog exercise, more areas of the brain are activated than with any other exercises. After 8 weeks, participants showed an increase in gray matter in areas responsible for coordination and movement, indicating brain development where atrophy usually occurs with age. Additionally, this exercise helps strengthen so-called rotational stability. When you carry a bag in one hand or turn back, this function protects the spine and helps maintain balance. To achieve maximum benefit while holding, take deep breaths through the nose, expanding the chest. This activates the deep core muscles and improves oxygen supply. Also, add intentional stretching, as if you want to stretch one arm forward and one leg back. This creates a radiating effect, engaging additional fibers throughout the body, which contributes to an increase in strength by up to 40%. These 5 exercises surpass regular walks for people over 60. Yes, walks are beneficial, but they do not provide the variety of stimuli needed for the body to maintain youth. In this case, we gain strength in various planes of movement, train balance and coordination, improve cognitive functions, increase bone density, and strengthen the connection between the brain and body. All this takes only 25 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. Compare with regular watch walks that take twice as long but yield less significant results. A study from the Kappengang University showed that those who engaged in targeted exercises spent an average of 7 to 10 minutes a week, while regular walkers spent about 180 minutes, yet the health of the first group was significantly better. The main thing is not perfect technique, but progress. Start with what is available to you. It can be simplified versions or fewer repetitions. The body adapts very quickly, and in just a few weeks, you will be amazed by your own changes. Research repeatedly confirms that it's never too late to start. Even people over 90 have shown improvements. The body can change at any moment in our lives. It just needs the right stimulus. And these 5 exercises provide that stimulus. Now, I am curious to know which everyday activity has become more difficult for you after 60. What would you like to improve? How many minutes a week do you currently dedicate to training? What is your main obstacle to regular exercise? Write to us about this. We would be very interested to learn your stories and opinions. Thank you for your attention. Stay with us. There is much interesting ahead about health and longevity.